The dark web is home to some of the most gruesome and disturbing websites on the internet, including illegal marketplaces for drugs, weapons, and stolen information. The dark web is a treacherous place, a digital underworld where the worst of humanity gather to exchange their most sinister wares. It's a place where you can find anything, for a price. Malware, ransomware, and other hacking tools are readily available for those with the knowledge and the coin. The dark web is a place where cybercriminals lurk in the shadows, waiting to strike unsuspecting victims with their deadly digital weapons. If you dare to venture into the dark web, be warned, you may never come back the same. The darkness that awaits there can corrupt even the most stalwart of souls, and the horrors that you will witness will haunt you forever. The dark web is not just a place for buying and selling illegal goods, it's also a hub for some of the most nefarious and twisted individuals in the world. On the dark web, you can find forums and chat rooms where these criminals gather to plot their next heinous acts. They communicate in code, using language that is indecipherable to outsiders. They discuss everything from drug trafficking to human trafficking, from extortion to murder, and they do it all without fear of being caught by law enforcement. They are the wolves of the dark web, preying on the unsuspecting and the innocent. If you stumble upon one of their chat rooms, you'll feel as if you've walked into a den of snakes. The air is thick with the stench of malevolence, and you'll feel the weight of their evil intentions bearing down on you. The dark web is not for the faint of heart. It's a place where the boundaries between reality and the digital realm blur, where the veil of anonymity can make even the most mundane interactions feel like a dangerous game. Accessing the dark web requires a level of technical skill and knowledge that most people don't possess, and those who do venture into this digital netherworld often find themselves lost in a labyrinth of twisted paths and dead ends. The dark web is a place where the walls have ears and the shadows have eyes, where every keystroke could be recorded and every message intercepted. If you're not careful, you could find yourself ensnared in a web of deceit and lies, trapped in a digital prison from which there is no escape. The dark web is a lawless wasteland, a place where the rules of society do not apply. It's a place where the strong prey upon the weak, where the cunning manipulate the foolish, and where the innocent are left to fend for themselves. The lack of regulation on the dark web allows criminals to operate with impunity, making it a breeding ground for all sorts of nefarious activities. From drug trafficking to human trafficking, from identity theft to terrorism, the dark web is a hotbed of criminal activity that threatens to destabilize the very foundations of society. If you venture into the dark web, be prepared to encounter the worst of humanity, for there is no shortage of predators waiting to pounce on their unsuspecting prey. The darkness that shrouds the dark web is thick and suffocating, and once you enter, there may be no escape. The dark web is a cesspool of human depravity, a place where the most vile and reprehensible acts are glorified and traded like commodities. Among the many horrors that can be found on the dark web, few are as despicable as the illegal pornography that is rampant within its virtual halls. Child pornography, in particular, is a booming business on the dark web, with criminal organizations profiting from the exploitation and abuse of innocent children. The thought of such atrocities being committed against the most vulnerable members of society is enough to make one's blood run cold. The perpetrators of these heinous crimes lurk in the shadows, cloaked in anonymity and shielded from the prying eyes of the law. If you happen upon a website or forum dedicated to such unspeakable acts, you'll be forever haunted by the sickening images that will be seared into your mind. The darkness of the dark web is deep and unfathomable, and the horrors that await there are not for the faint of heart. The dark web is a place where anything can be bought and sold, including the most dangerous and deadly substances known to man. Illegal drugs are a booming business on the dark web, with sellers offering everything from marijuana to heroin, from ecstasy to methamphetamine. But it's not just the drugs themselves that are dangerous, it's the lack of regulation and quality control that makes them potentially lethal. The substances sold on the dark web are often cut with dangerous additives, and there's no way to know what you're actually ingesting. The sellers are faceless and anonymous, and there's no recourse if you're sold a deadly product. If you're not careful, you could find yourself in the grip of addiction or even worse, death. The dark web is a place where the line between life and death is thin, and one misstep could lead to a fate worse than you can imagine. The dark web is a place where secrets are bought and sold, and where the truth can be twisted beyond recognition. One of the most unsettling aspects of the dark web is the thriving market for stolen personal information. From credit card numbers to social security numbers, from medical records to email passwords, everything is for sale on the dark web. Hackers and cybercriminals can steal your identity with ease, and use it for their own nefarious purposes. Your every move is monitored and tracked, and your personal information can be used against you in ways you never imagined. The dark web is a place where privacy is a luxury that few can afford, and where the consequences of being exposed can be catastrophic. If you enter the dark web, be prepared to have your every secret laid bare for all to see. The darkness of the dark web is all-consuming, and once you enter, there may be no way to escape the consequences of your actions. The dark web is a place where the unthinkable can become a reality, and where the most twisted desires can be fulfilled. Among the many horrors that can be found on the dark web, few are as disturbing as the market for human organs. On the dark web, human organs can be bought and sold like any other commodity. From kidneys to livers, from hearts to lungs, there's no shortage of body parts available for purchase by the highest bidder. The donors themselves are often unwilling victims, kidnapped and held captive until their organs can be harvested. The thought of such a grotesque trade being conducted in secret is enough to make one's stomach turn. The buyers are faceless and anonymous, and the sellers are willing to do whatever it takes to turn a profit. If you stumble upon a website or forum offering human organs for sale, you'll be forever haunted by the depravity of humanity. The darkness of the dark web is deep and unfathomable, and the horrors that await there are beyond comprehension. The dark web is a place where the most bizarre and disturbing items can be found, including haunted and cursed objects. From dolls to mirrors, from jewelry to paintings, there are countless objects on the dark web that are said to be imbued with dark energy and malevolent spirits. The sellers will spin tales of tragedy and horror that surround these objects, and offer them up for a high price to those who dare to buy. But beware, for the stories of the haunted objects on the dark web are not just legends, they're real. Those who have bought these cursed items have reported experiencing strange and terrifying events, from ghostly apparitions to unexplained sounds and movements. The darkness of the dark web seems to amplify the negative energy of these objects, and those who possess them are said to be doomed to a life of misery and terror. If you're brave enough to seek out these haunted items on the dark web, be prepared for the consequences. The darkness of the dark web is all-consuming, and once you invite these cursed objects into your life, there may be no escape. So beware, dear traveler, for the dangers that lurk within the murky depths of the dark web are beyond comprehension.